I finally jumped on the latte girl makeup trend, and oh my god, am I glad I did. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Heather Eaglin. I love all things makeup, especially colorful makeup. If you love those things too, then I do hope you will subscribe and turn on your notifications so you can be notified of all my future uploads. And let's go ahead and get started. Here I'm just showing you the products that I used to create this look, but before we get started, I just want to say this Give Beauty liquid lipstick is the greatest thing I have ever put on my lips. Insert joke here. I have it in the shade Tomboy, and I paired it with my Cool Brown ABH lip liner. Every time you take a breath, you taste the greatest tasting cake you could ever imagine in your life. It smells so freaking incredible. And the formula on it is excellent as well. I really enjoyed the NATASHA DENONA blush and bronze powder. I did notice though, I had to set the perimeters of my face with the setting powder before I could really use it because it is a shade too deep for me. But after I set it down, I did get it to work out, and I ended up really loving it. Putting it on unset skin made it kind of dark and patchy though. But like I said, I think that was only because it was a shade too deep for me. So I've been seeing the latte girl makeup trend go around on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. But because I'm not typically drawn to eyeshadow looks that are neutral, I kind of waited to try it. But man, I really shouldn't have done that because I freaking love this look. The only bad thing about it was I didn't do this look until around 10 o'clock at night. So I kind of didn't really get to enjoy wearing it. But I really loved it. I thought it was so beautiful and sexy and elegant. I totally get the hype around it. And I really love this Super Glow highlighter and this NATASHA DENONA cheek palette. It's so beautiful, so smooth. It kind of just gives you that glass skin appearance. I would love to try more NATASHA DENONA cheek palettes and face products. I really understand where all the hype is coming from around her face products for sure. It gives you such a lit within kind of glow. I've really been enjoying using this blush palette from LUNAR Beauty and LAURALEE Los Angeles. Sandbar was the perfect shade to create this bronzy look, and then I wanted to use the Peachy Keen shade to kind of blend out the edges of that a little bit. This is a really great pigmented blendable formula, and the longevity on these are really great as well. The highlighters in this palette are really great as well. They're very smooth and they kind of give you that same lit within kind of look that the NATASHA DENONA gives me, but I didn't use that on my face today. I did, however, use it in my eye look, which you will see soon. Peach shade is one of my favorites in this palette. I just love a peachy blush, and I really think they nailed it with the shade that they chose. I'd say out of the new products I tried today, my favorite one was the Give Beauty liquid lipstick. I actually purchased this yesterday at TJ Maxx, and like I said, I got it in the shade Tomboy, and it's honestly such a perfect shade for me. I think this might be my favorite shade in my whole collection. I got this Il Makiage eyeshadow palette in my BoxyCharm. I got the Icon box this month. It was my first time getting it. To be honest, the box really wasn't worth it. I did get a few good products, but for the most part, it's all brands I haven't even heard of, which, call me crazy, I'm pretty sure the Icon box is supposed to be from good quality known brands. I like the eyeliner duo that I got from Wander Beauty in that box. Here I'm using the shade Brown. I'm just kind of creating a wing, just trying to create a base for that cat eye shape, and then as soon as I do this, I'm gonna go out with a brush and just kind of blend it out, smudge it just a little bit. I will say the black liner is a lot more creamier and pigmented and workable than this brown one is. This one's a little drier, So, I mean, I don't have a lot of brown eyeliner and I don't use a lot. So I don't know if that's like normal, but I wasn't really into the brown one. The black one was way better. This is the first time I tried to do a look like this, where it's kind of like cat eye shaped, but smoky and like glam. And I really wish I would have tried it a long time ago because, like I said earlier, I really was feeling myself after this look. I just hate that I didn't get done until like 11:30 that night. This is the kind of eye look that you want to make sure you can wear all day. And I also wanted to let you know what else is on my face. I'm also wearing the Lancome Tint Idole. That is my current favorite foundation. I also mixed the L'Oreal LUMI Glotion with the e.l.f. Grip Primer, the niacinamide one. And I put that for my base, and then I also used the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer. And as always, for my brow products, I use my ABH Brow Freeze with my Benefit Cosmetics Precisely My Brow and my NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Marker. Those have been my go-to brow products for well over a year. And if I don't have my Benefit Precisely My Brow pencil, I really do like the one by NYX, the Micro Brow. Okay, for this look, I changed my technique up just a little bit. I'm using a transition shade. I'm using the lightest one in this palette, and I'm just working that through my whole crease. When I start using the darker shades, I just apply them in the inner part of my eye until halfway through, and I'm kind of just leaving the outer corner blank except for the work that I do on my winged out lash line. Typically when doing an eye look, I will pack on the deepest shade first and then blend it out and then go from darkest to lightest until I get the gradient that I'm looking for. But working with neutrals, I start with the lightest and then work up to the deepest shade. This is a nice eyeshadow palette. This is by Il Makiage. It doesn't have the pigmentation that I'm used to. If you're someone who likes soft glam eyeshadow looks, I think you will really love this palette. But if you're someone who likes a lot of contrast in your looks, I don't think you will as much, because you really have to pack on these shades to get them to like the desired color that I was looking for. This was a really good palette to create this look, but if I had not got this in my BoxyCharm, I would have never purchased it on my own. And I have a lot of other really great palettes in my collection that I could have used to create this as well. And speaking of that, I just posted yesterday a video showing all of the eyeshadow palettes that are in my collection, and I will insert it here up in the card. And that's part 2 of what's in my makeup collection. I also have a part 1 where I'm showing like all of my base products and a few other things, and I will link that up in the cards as well. And if you're unsure on how to find the videos that are in the cards, you can find them down at the bottom of my description box, or as I've talked about it, it will have popped up on the right hand side of the screen. As you can see, it's taken me going back and forth a lot to get the depth that I wanted in the inner corner. I didn't want it too deep because darkness in your inner corner can really make your eyes look dark underneath if you're not careful. But I did want some kind of like contrast and gradient there, and I've had to go back and forth quite a bit of times. And if you see me switching brushes, that is because I try to go back and forth between the lightest shade I used prior and then the darkest shade that I'm using currently. Now I'm going to start working on the outer corner on this wing. I'm really going for a very smoky look on this outer corner, so I'm just packing on the shades, trying to also get a good gradient. Now I've switched to a liner brush because the one I was using wasn't really packing it on deep enough, so I'm just kind of stamping on the color and packing it on, also while trying to blend it into that eyeliner. I really don't think that eyeliner was good for this, not the brown one. It wasn't emollient or pigmented enough to get it to blend, and adding shadow on it should have deepened it up some, but it didn't. In the end, it did work out just fine, but I did have to work a lot harder to get my desired look. I don't have a lot of brown liners in my collection, and I'm seeing now that I probably need to get some, and I'm just curious what your guys' favorite eyeliner formula is for when it comes to like browns and blacks. My ADHD brain has me going back and forth in between my crease shade and that wing shade. Now I'm just trying to deepen up this crease again a little bit more because I'm still not really satisfied with it. Neutrals are some of the easiest eyeshadows to formulate for brands, and they're some of the easiest eyeshadows to work with when it comes to blending and stuff. So for me to have to keep going back and forth like doing this is kind of ridiculous. And the fact that this is like a $35–40 palette is just insane to me. If you're looking for a really good neutral palette, Juvia's Place has one. And the Coffee Shop palette, it's very pigmented and beautiful, and you would have a lot easier time creating this look. But also ColourPop has a lot of really good ones. And I have the Chocolate Martini palette from Glamlight. That's one of my favorite neutral palettes in my collection, and that would also be beautiful with this look. And with using one of those palettes, an eye look like this might take 10 or 15 minutes, whereas I spent an hour doing this last night. So it kind of makes it hard for me to recommend this to anyone when you can easily get a 16 pan palette for $24 or get a 9 pan for $9. Now I'm adding on this black brown shade to try to deepen this up some, and you can see it really doesn't make that much of a difference. It looks more like a medium brown than it does a black brown. And honestly, it's a shame because the packaging on this eyeshadow palette is freaking glorious, and it's so heavy and luxurious. It literally feels like a brick. And I feel like if you're going to work that hard to make such beautiful packaging, then you should take a few more extra steps in perfecting your formula in the palette, which is probably why you don't hear of Il Makiage a lot being used like in the influencer community. You see it in ads and stuff, but you don't see a lot of people using it in tutorials and such. Have you guys tried any Il Makiage products? And if you have, which ones are your favorite? Like, what do you think of them as a brand altogether as a whole? Because for all I know, this palette could just be a one-off for them. I haven't tried anything else from the brand. Hold the fucking phone. I just looked this palette up, and believe it or not, it is $61. That is absolutely the most crazy, insane thing that, oh my god, I honestly thought at most it was $30, and I thought that was way overpaying. You're literally just paying for the package, and even at that, you're paying too much. There is no way in God's green earth that this palette is worth $61. I get better pigmentation and blendability from a Wet n Wild palette, and that's no joke. Seriously, you could get a better palette and a better look by using those little $4 e.l.f. mini palettes. I was honestly trying to be nice about not liking this palette because I do know that we all like different things, we all have different techniques, and we all want different end results. So I was trying to keep that in mind and be all light and positivity over here, but seeing that, oh my god, that is just so freaking ridiculous. I do have this palette linked in the description box, but please God, please don't buy it. I'm going to go ahead and put the Juvia's Place one down below it because, like I said, that one's $24 and you get 16 shades as opposed to, what, 8 or 10? And it's such a better deal and such a better formulation. I'm just floored over here. Like, the palette did work. I really love this look, but yeah, that's just crazy. And no wonder I don't hear any other content creators talking about this brand. At least none of the creators that I follow on YouTube or Instagram, but I don't want to speak for everyone. So I can say out of everything that I use today, I can recommend all of it except for the Il Makiage palette and the brown liner from Persona. I did try to find that eyeliner duo and I can't find it as a duo, and the packaging on the liners are different, so they may have reformulated since this. I did just get this in a BoxyCharm, so that kind of makes me wonder like why I got the older one, but that's a whole different other story. I do recommend the black one though, at least in the one that I have. It's very, very nice. And like I said earlier, I love the lipstick, the blush palette, the bronzer and highlight duo, and all of my base products that I've really been loving for a little while now. And I do have it all linked in the description box. None of my links are affiliated except for my Game Beauty link. As of this very moment, I don't have enough subscribers yet to be able to make my links affiliate links or anything, make any type of commission off of them at all. But I do want to make sure you guys have all of the information in case you're really loving anything you see me use. Now you can see that black liner. It is so dark and it's emollient to where it's very movable and blendable, but it also doesn't run or smear or anything like that. It does dry down, and once it dries down, it actually stays in place. I can't speak on the longevity of it because like I said earlier, I didn't finish this look until sometime between 10:30 and 11:30 last night, and I washed it off around 1 a.m. and as of 1 a.m. it did hold up, but that is not very long of a time. I will try this liner again though, and I will update the description box and let you guys know the wear time on it. The black added to it and smoked out into that wing really upped this whole look, I think, though. It added a lot of drama and a lot of depth to this look, and I really love that in all my looks. Now I'm just going back in with that brown black shade and kind of blending that out, and here I'm using the medium shade to just blend on the edges and smoke that out a little bit. I'm really loving the cat eye effect that this technique gave, and something I did to kind of like sharpen it and lift my eyes. Towards the end, I took my translucent setting powder. I'm using the Dominique Cosmetics setting powder, and I just kind of put some on my brush and swiped it up my eye the same way that I just did that sponge, and it really like lifted the whole eye. Now I'm going back in with my full coverage Fantasy palette, and I use the lightest highlighter shade on my inner corner, but then I also mix the two highlighter shades and kind of put them on the front of my lid to try to brighten that up a little bit. I'm using a flat shader brush, and I'm kind of using those highlighter shades to carve out my inner crease where I put those other shadows. It kind of does like a faux cut crease and just really enhances what I did in the crease and on the wing. Now I'm just going back in with the mattes, and I'm re-deepening up the crease a little bit, trying to just get more depth there and fading it out. I really loved what I did with the inner corner of my eye and then just kind of fading it out to nothing. Okay, here we have the finished look without lashes. I have on the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes Mascara. And the lashes you'll see me put on, I'm using the Ardell Demi Wispies. But first, I want to go back in with my bronzer and kind of deepen it up a little bit and mix it in with that highlighter. I really like a glowy cheek, but this look is supposed to be like very bronzed. And now I'm also going back in with my blush and adding a little more of that. And I also add a little more of the highlighter too towards the end. And I wanted to show you guys an up close look of the eye. I use my phone to film this so you can really get a good look at it, and look at that. That is just so beautiful, and I loved it so much, and I'm so glad that I tried the trend. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I do hope you will subscribe and turn on your notifications to be notified for all my future uploads. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, bye!